Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Happy Friday, Craig.
Oh, it's great to be back. We're right into it now, aren't we, Taz?
That's it.
Yeah.
Look everyone, with Easter just around the corner, today what we wanted to do is go through some interior painting techniques and focus on our Endure paint as well.
Well, there's not a better paint out there as far as we're concerned, Tara, and we want to really make sure you guys are aware and understand how fantastic our Endure is. And that's what we're going to take to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get stuck into it, we just want to have a bit of a look at some of the preparation that we need to do beforehand, because we know everyone hates doing preparation when it comes to paint, but it's really, really important that we do some so that we get a nice, beautiful finish at the end of the job. Isn't that right, Craig?
It's actually essential. It's essential. And as a painter myself, people steer away from painting because of the prep that in most of the time they realise they have to do. Look, before we dive into that though, can I just say, let's quickly touch on some of the features that Endure holds for our customers out there.
Of course.
To bring to their attention. So, Tara, let me ask you, and I'm just going to ask you because I feel like that'll be fun. What's the major thing or the one major feature that you love about Endure that it does for the customers and ourselves in our homes?
Or probably the coverage and how easy it is to use.
And that's absolutely what we're going to show today. We've got lots of really good painting walls with different colours today to show the power of Endure with the coverage of the colours. The scrubbability level is something that's very different to this paint, to any other paint we have in our arsenal of paints. Basically, it's not just washable and stain resistant, this is actually scrubbable.
That's
and
right.
You'll clean those nasty kid handprints off your walls with ease, your dogs shaking their mud net on the wall, no problem at all. Cleans up beautifully. It is a lovely, lovely paint.
And good for every room in the house, isn't it?
Absolutely. With our bacteria shield within Endure, it actually gives us a lifetime guarantee against your mold forming. It's basically, it's a physical barrier against it in the paint. So as long as that paint's on the surface, you're going to be fine when it comes to that. So every room in the home.
And low odour as well.
Low odour as well. So who doesn't like that?
Yeah.
Let's say, you know.
Paint the room, paint the house, still can live in it quite easily
It's
with
not
no
like
issues
back in the 70s where it was like all oil-based enamel. Let's get away from that. Let's start to use this low odour quality product here. Endure's fantastic.
That's right. So Craig, what do we use to clean the walls down before we start painting?
All right, there's a product that you and I know quite well, and there's probably a few of you guys out there that know it, called sugar soap. And sugar soap is actually a really good cleaning agent for getting your grime and your gunk, your kitchen muck that builds up behind the ovens. So when you're cooking your food and all your fats and your so on go up, and some of them can go onto the wall, they become very greasy. We can't paint over that. So to remove it, cap full of sugar soap in a warm bucket of water.
Water must be warm, really important.
Really help it clean much better. And then you get yourself a good sponge, wash the wall down. Once you've done that, clean bucket of water, wash the wall down a second time, just to remove any residues that the sugar soap can leave behind. Then it's nice and dry and clean. Is that all we need to do, Tara?
Not yet. We're not ready to paint just yet. It is important that we give it a bit of a sand first. Now, personally, I hate this step. Everyone hates sanding. But why is it so important to sand? Okay,
so when old paint cures and dries to the hardest point where it can get to, it's actually resisting anything getting into that paint. So we want to open up the pores of the old paint so the new paint can soak in and grip thoroughly. So a sand, just giving it a light sand, test to make sure the old paint's still adhering, as well as allowing the new paint to grip really well. And so we can go forward and actually get a longevity product and finish out of it where you're not going to have any problems.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now would be the time that we would patch any holes that we have in the wall, maybe some picture hooks that have come down. Things like that.
So any dings from the dog's head when they've run in and boof, you know, sometimes you've got to fix things like that. I know Tara's dog's a wild one. Now, so the dings, so we fill it up with our interior fillers.
Yep.
Okay, so they're just your water-based fillers. You fill the holes up. When they're dry, you give them a sand smooth to the level of the wall. Now, then you've got a wall that's got like patches on it, and you've got previously painted paint. Would you say that we can just bang low sheen paint straight over that?
Not quite yet. There's still just one more step that we've got to do, and that's just a coat of the 3-in-1 first.
Now, the reason that we require an undercoat over patches on walls is because if we don't put an undercoat, the low sheens, etc., will allow the patch to be showing through. Not showing through the colour of the paint film, but actually the sheen level adjusts and you can still see the patch.
Yep.
So what an undercoat does is it gives us a nice flat base so that when we put our sheen level finish coat, we get a lovely even sheen level.
Seals it up nicely.
3-in-1 is fantastic.
Yep.
It's our best undercoat. You won't go wrong with it. We love our little slogan with 3-in-1 and endure, don't we? What's our slogan, Tara? Because I love making you say it.
3-in-1, 8-in-1, job done.
That's right. It's that simple. So these two products together can solve all of your interior paint needs. Any problems you got, they can fix it. Any room of the house.
So now that we've prepped it,
we've
cleaned it, we've sanded it, we've patched the holes, we've put a coat of 3-in-1, now can we paint?
We are ready to go. We are ready to go. And you know what my favourite thing is when we get our hands dirty and we get in there and we physically show you that how good these products are. So we're going to get into it right now. So Tara, if I could ask you, would you be able to run through a couple little tips with your paint pot and your brush for us before we start?
Yep. So first and foremost, you want to use good quality tools. We're using a top of the range finish. We want to use good quality tools to go with that. So today we're using the Monarch Advanced, which I think is your favourite brush, isn't it, Craig?
Absolutely my favourite brush. Beautiful quality brush. You do pay a few extra dollars for it, but it's worth its weight in gold. Honestly is.
It's also really important to decant your cutting in paint out of the can into a bucket. The reason is that you don't want to contaminate any of the paint that's in the can. And the other thing too is you only want to fill the paint in not even halfway. You only want about that much on the paint. If you end up with paint all over the bristles, it'll get up into the handle, and that's when you become a really messy painter like me. So we've only got that much paint on there, and basically rather than tapering it off the side, all that's doing is removing all the paint on the bristle. So what you essentially want to do is you want to dip the paint in and just give it a little bit of a tap on the side, just so that you've got enough paint on there to start cutting in. Really important that you do that. We find a lot of DIYers, they won't have enough paint on their brush, therefore they won't get a decent coverage out of the product. So just dip it in, tap on the sides, and then we're just going to start cutting in this wall here. I'm a little bit short, but I'll be okay.
Now Tara's putting the first amount of paint a little bit below where she wants to cut that in. Because if we put the full load of paint right up under that line, we'd get it too much going up onto the corners. So very important that she does that. And then when she's spread that out, she then feathers, by pushing the bristles up, she feathers them out, and she can then run that line pretty straight underneath the corners there.
Pretty straight, that's
Pretty
exceptional,
straight,
mate.
pretty straight, exceptional. You can obviously go back and over this a few times to get your line straighter.
I almost stood in the paint.
Don't stand in the paint, thanks, Taz. It's quite black. So this is Taubmans All Black, the colour All Black. You can walk into a Bunnings store, you can ask for black. In Taubmans it's called All Black. You can get it in any product you need, whether it is interior, exterior, away you go. You can see, we wanted to show today how well even a black, which is the darkest colour you can get out there, even the black covers over a very light colour. So Tara, that looks bloody fantastic. As our first real definition, a lot of people do ask us about, how can I cover this colour? Do I need to put an undercoat to get the coverage power to cover this light colour with a dark colour, or vice versa? We want to show you guys that with Endure, you get great coverage power using a product of this level. All right, so this is black. This is pure black. Again, you get this tinted in Bunnings, not a problem at all. Just go in and ask for it. But look at that. That's just about, I'd say, one coat coverage with your cutting in there, Taz.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
I went to your school of how to paint, that's why.
You did. You did.
So Craig, do you want to show us how to roll now? Got some nice rolling techniques to go through.
Yep, I'll zip over here if you want to go around the other side. And already pre-worked in the roller, so everyone knows that. Basically, you don't want to have too dry a roller, but you don't want to put your paint on downwards as a first stroke. You want to actually start just below the middle, work up first to get the heavier paint on. Now you can see it's a brand new roller. We want to basically work the paint into the fibres of the roller. And after the first few rolls, you'll find that a lot more paint is going on there. But with any rolling, I don't know if you can hear that, guys, but you can hear the wetness of the paint. you actually don't want it to sound dry. You want it to sound quite wet. Now, the roller sleeve I'm using here is a microfiber. They don't hold as much paint as, say, the old lambswools, but they do help to put your paint on very evenly. And I think from a DIY perspective, that's actually really important. So it's only a 230mm roller sleeve that I'm using here today. But you can see there's no way that I would need to do more than 2 coats with this.
So what Craig's doing there now is he's just laying off. So once he's got paint on a portion of the wall, he's just going over the wall, not taking any paint off and not putting any on, just to give it a nice uniform look, to get rid of any of those lines from where he's rolled it.
And I'm really just throwing this paint around here, which is, you know, the standard person is not going to be overly fantastic with their techniques. It's all about that last roll though, Tara. It's all about that little bit of a back roll.
Yep.
Just
Getting
to
a
make
nice
sure.
smooth finish.
Yeah, but coverage power, pretty good. Pretty good indeed. We could say, actually, it's brilliant.
You look like you've done that before, Craig.
All right, so I won't go any further there, but I will. So the back roll technique, shall I just do that?
Yep, just go over
now?
that again. Yep.
So we want to keep our roller facing the same way, because actual roller sleeves have a grain. So if we flip this over and do the second one opposite way, we'll get a different stipple. So we actually want to keep the roller top to bottom, very gentle. Now obviously the light switch is there, so I don't want to roll over the light switch. But gently, it takes away any track lines, helps to lower the stipple, which again helps with the coverage. So little techniques like this, if you do have a real, well, if you had any paint, this technique would help that paint cover better. But with Endure, honestly, it doesn't need too much assistance.
Beautiful.
But that's 1 coat of black and it's done.
Really, really good.
You know?
So now that we've showed a dark colour over a light wall, how about a light colour over a dark wall?
Oh, let's change it up. Let's change it up. So that's why we've got this lovely dark maroon in the back of the room here. Now, I'm not nervous.
Get it on there.
All right, we haven't cut this one in, so we just want to show
Just how well it covers.
how good Endure looks over the top. Now, you know, you don't want to spread your paint out too far. What happens when you spread architectural or house paint out, it loses its body. You know, a lot of people try and get value for money. Spreading the paint out too far, you actually end up doing more coats. You'll probably end up having to buy too much paint.
That's right.
You don't need that much, you know.
So Craig's not putting too much pressure on the roller, he's just guiding it on there. We're not trying to squeeze as much paint out as we possibly can. We just want to guide the roller onto the wall so we just get a nice even coverage. So while you're doing that, Craig, I just want to talk about the different sheen levels that Endure comes in. You can basically have any colour in a matte, low sheen, semi-gloss and gloss finish. If you head into your local hardware store, you can get these sheen level indicators which are on the colour wall. So if you're not sure, maybe you're trying to match an existing wall that you've got, or maybe you're doing a new project and you're not sure which sheen level that you want to go with, you can get these handy little cards which can then help you make your decision. That's looking fantastic, Craig. You got really good coverage there. So that's just 1 coat of white. That's just plain white out of the can of the Endure in the low sheen over the dark colour. We do recommend two coats for washability and scrubbability.
And look, I haven't even back rolled it yet.
And it still looks good.
You know, if we go back over it, again, as long as you put on a nice amount of paint, that nice little light back roll just helps cut out the track lines, helps the coverage of it. And don't overplay with your paint. A lot of people see paint drying and they go, oh, it's not covered so well in that spot. Well, guess what? Leave it. Let it dry. Let the process take place, because all you're going to do by going back over it after 5-10 minutes is actually causing it not to cover as well. So put it on, lay it off, leave it.
Beautiful.
That's my advice.
So now we've done a light colour
Yes.
over a dark wall.
This is your favourite bit.
This is my favourite bit. So now we're going to do a bright colour on a light wall.
Is this your favourite colour? Or you're not going to say that?
Oh, I don't know. There's too many nice colours out there.
Look, a lot of people love purple. Let's be honest. It's
Now,
quite popular.
I'm going to cheat a bit because I've brought the super roller in today. And I'm going to show you how quickly you can just achieve your projects at home.
Tara wants to show that she's faster with the roller than me. Let's see. Tara, do you remember what the name of this colour is? Because it eludes me. It eludes me at the moment.
I think we created this with Colorsmith actually.
Oh, we weren't going to really talk about Colorsmith today too much because we've had such a full day of talking about Endure.
We did, but I got some inspiration out of the garden with some nice flowers, and I thought that it might look nice having this colour painted on the wall.
That's fantastic. And look, I've been using Colorsmith quite regularly now. It's a fantastic method of creating colours from photo images that you might have in your phone. It's such a great creation, a colour creation tool. So Tara's basically saying that she must have a purple flower at home that she's taken a photo of, and then through Colorsmith she's been able to create a paint.
That's right.
And here it is. And I'm just blown away at how well that has covered.
And I'm just laying off again, just like you did, Craig.
Look, the big rollers, if you haven't painted much before, the big roller that Tara's using might be a little bit too big as a starting point. A lot of painters will use them because, yes, it's a time saver. Bang, she's done one load of paint, she's done the wall. But with a normal, 230mm roller, you're going to probably take the time that I took over here, where you'll just have to work yourself along. It's a little bit safer. But once you become competent with rolling, no reason that you can't try the big ones.
Pretty quick, huh?
Pretty quick, bloody impressive.
That's right.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a world record for how fast you can paint a wall. Maybe we should look at that, get, what is it, the world record guys in and time?
Maybe. Might have to practice some more first.
All right. Well, I tell you what, Tars, really, really impressed with these products. Really impressed with how well it covers light to dark, dark to light. I mean, everyone, it's just really strengthening the understanding of how good our best product is.
Yep.
And this is our best interior. You got your 3-in-1 as your undercoat, you got your 8-in-1 as your top coat. Your job is done. 1 coat of undercoat, 2 coats of top coat. You don't need anything else. You've got a brand new looking home.
Happy days.
So those benefits for this, again, super scrubbable paint.
Yep.
Like, we love this paint. You can bang it in every room of the house.
You can.
Every room. You don't have to change products. You don't have to go and spend a lot of money on an expensive particular product for one particular room. Endure every room of the house. That is amazing, and we love that.
That's right. The coverage, as we've just seen here.
Yep. It's got the tick of approval by the Asthma Foundation.
It does.
A lot of people don't understand that or know that. Asthma Foundation is a massive tick of approval. They're very happy for it. It helps asthma sufferers because of the low VOCs, the low smell. Basically, kids with allergies or any problems, much better that you use Endure in your home. Much better.
And
looking after your family.
Suitable for all rooms in the house as well.
Absolutely. So you've got that super scrubbability. You've got the bacteria protection, so it's stopping your mold and that from forming. You've just got a product that actually does everything you want. We've put everything, our chemists have put everything they can in one can. But let's keep it simple. One product does a lot.
That's
Taubmans, that's Endure.
That's right. Shall we see if we've got any questions?
Yeah, we've got one question. I have a few scratches on my wall. Can I touch it up or do I have to paint the whole wall?
Okay, so the question was, I have a few scratches on my wall. Do I need to touch it up or do I have to paint the whole wall? Well, it comes down to how good you are at painting, I'll be honest. Because if you can get a perfect colour match, then you might get away with touching up just those patches, providing you can match the existing sheen that you've got on there. So what we would do in that case is a tip we call feathering, where you put the paint on really lightly and see if you can blend it into the rest of the wall. If you're not successful with getting a good blend, then you might have to paint the whole wall. So it's sort of
There's a lot of
trial and error.
There's a lot of internal questions about that because if that paint has been there for more than 6 months, even from the original can of paint, the colours will slowly change over time. So when you try and touch up even from the same paint, you can get that slight difference. So from my experience as a painter, most of us go, if there's a damage on a wall, let's just refreshen the wall and be done with it. Don't try and do something that's probably not going to be absolutely satisfactory. It's maybe not going to be perfect. New to old paint, there is always a difference. So just be aware of that when you try and touch something up.
Good chance to freshen up the room as
That's
well.
right. You know,
Yeah.
let's just freshen it up. Get yourself some Endure.
Yeah. Any more questions? That's it. We're all good. No worries.
Look, I'm really pleased with today. I mean, Endure is important to us as a team.
Yep.
We know how good this product is. We want you guys to know how good this product is. And the only way you're going to know, give us a whirl. Give us a whirl. Let's get into the matte and the low sheen. Let's bring those modern finishes and modern colours into your house with Taubmans. And don't forget to download the app for Colorsmith, because we will be going into that in some more detail. We don't want to give too much away. We're going to have a big session on Colorsmith at some stage in the next few months.
Yep.
But keep an eye out for us. Once a month or so, we will be popping up, doing another training session, and hopefully making your life with paint much, much easier.
So remember, guys, 3 in 1, 8 in 1.
Job
Job
done.
done. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.